Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to learn how to make your English writing flow naturally by mastering what I like to call the magic glue of grammar, conjunctions. You know, whether you're working on a high school essay, shooting off an email, or literally just texting a friend, conjunctions are absolutely the secret to sounding fluent and connected. Let's get right into it.
So do you ever feel like your writing sounds, well, kind of like a robot? Like, I like pizza, I like pasta, I like tacos. If so, trust me, you're not alone. As English learners, it's super common to rely on those short, simple sentences at first. I mean, it gets the point across, sure, but it can sound pretty choppy. But hey, there's an easy fix. Throwing in the right conjunctions suddenly makes the whole thing just flow together beautifully. I love this quote from the educational channel Chet Chat. A conjunction is like a bridge. It connects two lands. It's so true. It connects words, phrases, or even entire sentences to make your ideas super smooth. Think about it for a second. Without a bridge, you're just stuck on one side of the river, right? But with a bridge, your thoughts can travel freely, jumping right from one idea to the next. All right, here's our agenda for today. We're going to cover the conjunction bridge, fanboys, and correlative pairs, mastering complex sentences, essential punctuation rules, and finally, avoiding common mistakes.
Okay, let's dive straight into section 1, the conjunction bridge, connecting your ideas. Picture this. Think of your individual words, phrases, and clauses as train cars. On their own, yeah, they hold valuable cargo, like your ideas. But conjunctions? They're those crucial metal links right in between that keep the entire train moving forward together, so it doesn't just, fall apart on the tracks. They literally link noun to noun, phrase to phrase, or a full sentence to another full sentence. Moving right along to section 2, fanboys and correlative pairs, creating equal connections. So let's start with the absolute simplest type of bridges, coordinating conjunctions. You can actually remember these 7 foundational words really easily with the acronym FANBOYS. That's for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. They do one main job, joining items of equal grammatical value. For instance, and just adds information, like saying, I speak English and Spanish. But throws in an opposing idea, like he studies hard, but his brother doesn't. Oh, and so indicates a result, right? Like, it was raining, so we stayed inside. Just like kids enjoying a roller coaster together, words connected by fanboys sit right next to each other on a totally equal level. If you're linking 2 nouns, like pizza and hamburgers, or maybe 2 adjectives, like big and red, they are perfectly balanced. There's no weird imbalance of power going on here. They're just enjoying a nice, smooth grammatical ride side by side. Now, stepping slightly beyond fanboys, we hit correlative conjunctions. These are pretty much exactly like coordinating conjunctions, except they always travel in pairs. Why? To really emphasize your point. They use what we call parallel structure. Take a look at that last example. She not only lost, but also hurt her ankle. Using these pairs is a real game changer. It instantly makes your English sound so incredibly advanced and, honestly, much more persuasive. Okay, let's jump into section 3, mastering complex sentences, independent versus dependent clauses. So, in English grammar, an independent clause is basically like a strong, confident nurse. I went to the store. Boom, that's a complete thought. It can stand entirely alone. A dependent clause, on the other hand, well, that's more like a fragile patient on a crutch. They desperately need the nurse's support just to form a complete sentence. Literally, it cannot stand on its own without completely falling over. Answer subordinating conjunctions. Now, this is crazy. When you add one of these, like because or although, to a perfectly healthy independent clause, it instantly becomes a patient that needs another sentence to lean on. Let's say we have the sentence, you didn't study. That's an independent nurse, right? But if you just slap the word because in front of it, because you didn't study, whoa, it suddenly becomes a dependent patient. It completely leaves us hanging, waiting for more information. Which brings us perfectly to section 4, essential punctuation rules, when to use commas. All right, the golden rule for fanboys is actually super simple. If you're linking 2 complete sentences that could stand alone, 2 strong nurses, you absolutely must put a comma right before the conjunction. Look at our example here. I love dogs is a complete sentence, right? And Tim loves cats is also a complete sentence. Because that fanboys conjunction is doing the heavy lifting of holding these two independent clauses together, you've got to have that comma. Now, for complex sentences using subordinating conjunctions, there's another really neat trick. If the patient, the dependent clause, comes first in the sentence, you use a comma to separate it. But if the nurse, the independent clause, comes first, you don't need a comma at all. It's wild. Notice how the exact same words are used in both of those examples, but just flipping the order completely changes the punctuation rules. Let's wrap things up with Section 5, Avoiding Common Mistakes, Polishing Your Grammar. Okay, you gotta be incredibly careful with negative sentences. Seriously, this is a huge trap for so many students. When you're joining two things in a negative sentence, the rule is to use or, not and. Like if you say, I don't like apples and oranges, it actually sounds pretty confusing to a native speaker. If you want to say that you dislike both of those items, you absolutely must say, I don't like apples or oranges. Another major trap is using two contrasting conjunctions together. Remember this. Although and but or yet should literally never be used in the same sentence together. I see this all the time. Students want to say something like, although he is smart, but he doesn't study. Actually, scratch that. You only need one bridge per gap. You can use although at the beginning or but right in the middle, but please never ever use both. To wrap up this explainer, I have a challenge for you. I want you to pull out your most recent writing assignment today. Take a hard look at it. Are you building strong structural bridges, or are your ideas just kind of stranded on separate islands? Try adding a fanboys, or maybe pair up some correlatives, and just watch your English transform from feeling robotic to beautifully fluent. So what will your next sentence build?